You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG, it's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy episode 718.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door, with your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from APG headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. Today's show is recorded the week of August 3rd, 2026.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Put your light and he's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, a small plane crashes outside of Phoenix, killing the pilot.
Hey, Tower, I think that airplane that just took off in front of us crashed.
And the FAA warns about the safety of seats in certain 737 MAX aircraft. Also ahead, more news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and locked positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 718 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter, currently at the number one all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in
New York City.
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, former U.S. Air Force pilot and retired Delta Airlines captain. And joining me from his Garden View studio,
in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
retired professional dog photographer, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hi there, Jeff.
Almost got me.
Yeah, almost did it right. That's great. APG 718. Now, we could have done a little story about Flight 718, which was involved in a mid-air collision over the Grand Canyon back in 1956 involving a TWA Super Connie under United Airlines DC-7. Both aircraft were operating visual flight rules and failed to see each other, which had tragic consequences. 128 people died. But the good news was the accident catalyzed the creation of the modern air traffic control systems in America. So I could have done that, but I won't. So I'm going to tell you about...
Do something instead.
About Fred Finn. Finn, with 718 flights under his belt, was the world's most travelled Concorde passenger. He was a British businessman who dealt in technology transfers between the UK and the United States. And he travelled up to 3 times a day and always in seat 9 Alpha. Why, you may ask?
Wouldn't approve.
Because he worked out that 9 Alpha was the first seat that they started serving food and drinks at.
Good planning.
That's good. No, good forethought.
Smart man. Yeah. Well, whatever he did for his job obviously made quite a bit of dough to be able to afford to
look
do
at those
that.
cars.
Yeah, based on those cars, he didn't have time to wait around. So,
Right.
Yeah, wow. Very cool.
Cool.
So let's do that one, Nick, not the other one.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
Good idea.
wait, so we're going to start now?
Yeah, starting right now. And also, joining us from the north woods of the Atlanta suburbs, race car driver, self-taught chef, and a commercial multi-engine instrument-rated pilot with an interest in anything with enough horsepower to kill him. Good Lord, Alpha Juliet, AJ Shrimp.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Nick. Hey, Liz. Good to see you guys. Finally made it back from Wisconsin. Sorry I missed you guys in the last show.
Are you drinking what is it called, a spotted cow?
I am not at the moment drinking a spotted cow, but there is a high likelihood one will make an appearance during the show at some point.
Oh, good.
Little teaser.
Make sure you give one to me, too, because we're in the same
I'll pass you one.
general there. Okay. Very good. Okay. And also, last but not least, joining us from her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I got it right this time. Retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer, it's Liz Piper.
Hi, everybody. Jeff, I'm missing you sitting right next to me here. You're supposed to be sitting next to me.
Well, I'm like,
what's going on?
Almost. I mean, it's like right here.
I know,
See?
kind of, but
just
not
look up to your right, up and right. There. Hi.
Hi. Anyway, we're all back in our normal. Well, not normal. None of us are normal. We're in our usual places, I guess.
Yes. Yes. Yes, we
Anyway,
are.
have a good show, you guys.
Well, thanks, Liz.
Thanks, Liz.
Okay,
right.
bye.
Let's do some aviation news.
Stand by for news.
All right, we're going to start with this in our news segment. It involves a plane crash in Chandler, Arizona. Newly released air traffic control audio is providing new insight into the moments before a small plane crashed shortly after takeoff from Chandler Municipal Airport, killing the pilot. The NTSB is investigating what caused the Piper PA-28-180 Cherokee to go down just after 9:30 p.m. Tuesday in a commercial yard southwest of the airport. The pilot, who was the only person on board, died in the crash. All right. We have some video to play. A local news affiliate. I think it's Fox 13. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. It's Fox of some kind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hit play and no, Fox 10 actually. Let's hear what they have to say about this.
A pilot has died after the plane they were flying in crashed in Chandler.
The NTSB is on scene investigating. They have been throughout the day. Fox 10's Taylor Wirtz joins us from Chandler with more.
The NTSB has been out here all day long investigating. You can see them over my shoulder here at the crash site. We know the plane went down next to this warehouse just before 8 o'clock last night. This is about a mile down the road from the Chandler airport where the plane took off, crashing soon after. Video shows black smoke billowing into the sky moments after the NTSB says a Piper PA-28 plane crashed just moments after taking off from Chandler Municipal Airport Tuesday night, killing the pilot.
And Sky Hawk 5013 Romeo, yeah, you just continue down and see if you can get a better eye on it. Well, they just departed and it looks like they went down right off the depart trend.
The crash happened about a mile southwest of the airport, with the plane landing in the yard next to the Ferguson warehouse. The NTSB arrived Wednesday morning to investigate the cause.
They're going to look at, did the pilot respond correctly? They're going to look to see, was it just an engine failure? Or were there other issues with the airplane? Are all 4 points of the airplane there? From the nose, the engine, the prop, the wings, the tail? Was it just an engine failure, or were there other issues that might have caused the accident?
For Ryan Wallace, who grew up around the Chandler airport, planes flying overhead are a constant part of his day.
I mean, there's a plane there. They fly over all the time, especially with it being a flight school right there, too.
But Tuesday night's crash has him shook.
Heart goes out to the families and everything that are involved there.
Carrie Grant, an assistant professor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott, admits there have been more plane crashes in the valley than he's comfortable with in the last year.
It is concerning. So I think it's a good wake-up call to pilots out there to make sure they're doing good, thorough pre-flights.
But he points out the majority of those, fortunately, had positive outcomes. He says when you live somewhere with good weather most of the year, there will always be more people in the air.
Okay, there you go. If you want to watch the entire clip, we'll have that in our show notes. And Carrie Grant is a graduate of or alumnus of Embry-Riddle in Phoenix, their campus in Phoenix.
He was an assistant professor.
Well, there you go. Cool. And I guess he's the great-great-great-grandson of the famous movie actor Cary Grant.
You're lying.
I'm lying. I'm making that up. But, we're only, we have to meet the 50%. That's it. So, it's 50% chance that I'm right.
I think that's below 50%, that one. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
Anyway, I think we have some ATC recording. Do we know?
Well, I do. And I was going to say, Radio Roger was able to capture, I think, the best ATC
the essence
audio.
of it, yeah.
But I'm not even sure if this one has that in it or not. Let's take a listen.
Cherokee 90, 62 Juliet, Chandler Tower, flight straight out, runway 23 right, take off. Cherokee 62 Juliet, Chandler Tower, you up?
Tower 5013, we're 10 miles to the southwest. We've got eyes on the fire and smoke. You want us to circle?
And Skyhawk 5013 Romeo, yeah, you just continue down and see if you can get a better eye on it.
Is it an emergency aircraft?
Well, they just departed, and looks like they went down right off the departure end.
Alright, we're getting in as quick as we can.
Okay.
So far from out, it is 13 Romeo. So far from out here, we do see a small fire.
It looks like right off the departure and just past McQueen.
I'm trying to stop the audio from playing.
Looks like the corner of
it's not, it's not responding to my click over the little pause button on there. So,
Hawk 13 Romeo, if you can just
it's like,
proceed towards the crash site.
Taking control of my computer.
Idea of like where exactly it is.
His name is Hal.
Right at that
okay,
intersection.
this is what I've been looking for, and I'm going to go to the Radio Roger intro, and we're going to hear him hear what I was hoping that we'd hear.
Hey, Tower, I think that airplane that just took off with 20 bus crashed.
And the FAA.
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
Well, that was so smooth.
That was
and
a big mess.
Very big mess. Yes. But that's what people come here for, Liz. You know it.
That's, it was all jeffed up. Well,
we're all jeffed up for sure. ACME, ACU. All right.
Okay, well, that's
you'll
all
understand
we know.
what I'm referring. Maybe at the end of the
now,
show,
would
if you
AJ
stick
like
in
to
there.
comment on that particular aircraft?
I think AJ would
like
love to talk about what he thinks may have happened here.
It's a Cherokee.
Oh boy,
they're pretty good airplanes generally, but as with any other internal combustion piston engine airplane, it's not nearly as reliable as turbine stuff. But that is a terrible time for anything to go wrong at night in the initial stage of the climb. That's kind of the worst possible scenario.
Do you think it's possible that there was some kind of an illusion or something that he was suffering from? And because it sounds like it didn't get very high after initial liftoff, and
with so little information, I mean, literally anything is possible. It could have been a bird strike. It could have been an engine failure. It could have been a stall. It could have been he fainted.
A medical,
who knows? So
okay,
it could have been. There's no way to kind of direct that.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do here at the APG. We're going to be keeping our eyes and ears and all that open, and hopefully if there's some kind of a development, or maybe you, our
I was going to say
listeners,
community members, near
can,
Chandler.
Send us some feedback when you hear more details about what may have happened here in this terrible tragedy. Okay.
Next
is from the Aero Explorer. News of, FAA warns Boeing 737 MAX seat failure could endanger passengers. The Federal Aviation Administration has issued a proposed airworthiness directive warning that passenger seats on certain Boeing 737 MAX aircraft could fail during flight, potentially putting travelers at risk during turbulence, hard landings, or emergency situations. The agency flagged concerns about seat track fittings that may not meet required strength standards. If those fittings give way, seats could detach from the cabin floor, injuring passengers, blocking evacuation routes, etc. The proposed directive targets passenger seats installed on Boeing 737-8, 737-9 MAX aircraft. According to the FAA, some seat track fittings were manufactured with materials or tolerances that fall short of certification requirements. Under standard flight loads, the seats work as intended. Under sudden stress, such as severe turbulence or an emergency landing, they may not. The agency warned that a failure of this kind could cause serious injuries. Loose seats could also obstruct aisles during an evacuation, slowing passenger egress at a moment when every second matters.
That whole sudden stress, severe turbulence, and emergency landings thing, isn't that kind of like the specific wheelhouse of the 737 MAX?
Yep, pretty much is. So I can see why they're concerned.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, not to, they. You know what they didn't mention? I'm surprised. If like a door plug, gets opens up
decompression.
and those little seat fittings may not keep that darn seat there, and that may.
I mean, but you'll still be belted to the seat, and that's what matters.
True. That's true. Yeah, Captain Nick, you're looking very
quizzical.
Yeah, quizzical,
I'm all right.
skeptical.
He looks quite content, actually.
You're interpreting something that's not there.
He looks very content.
Well, so
You guys are doing a great job. Carry on.
Okay. All right. Well, we are carrying on. That's for sure. All right. With that, then, that's about all we know here. I don't know how many this is going to affect. Did I miss that part of the?
No, it
article?
potentially could affect a lot. Wow, that's a lot.
Wow. Okay. Let's move on.
Just quickly before we move on,
a
little farther down in the article, it does in fact mention the door plug that blew out.
Oh, did it? Great.
One more hammer blow. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah.
Boeing's greatest hits.
Yeah, no kidding. This next one from the Aviation Herald, an accident at Tracep, L410, near Kitshanga, Walikale, on July 24th, 2026. I mean, how did I do? Was that okay? Walikale. Engine failure. Missing aircraft located. Okay. A Tracep Aviation LET L410, registration 7 Quebec, Golf Mike Romeo, performing a flight from Beni to Kitshanga in the Democratic Republic of Congo with 3 crew and 2 tons of cargo, had departed Beni at 12:11 local time. It was en route about an hour into the flight when the crew reported to another aircraft that they had lost one of their engines, an M601, and they were diverting to Walikale, about 150 nautical miles south of Beni. This was the last radio transmission received from the aircraft. The aircraft did not land at Walikale or any other aerodrome so far. The aircraft was found on or after July 26th, 2026. The first officer died in the accident. 2 survivors were rescued on July 30th, 2026.
I'm confused about this sentence, or any other aerodrome so far. Are they saying there's still a chance?
Well, I guess so. You know what? Something sometimes happens with Simon Wadecki's reporting on the Aviation Herald. They'll put something like right away, and then he'll just start adding stuff to it. So you're right. It does. Okay. It's confusing the way that paragraph reads. But
and you'll see another confusion that I have here in a minute, because just to highlight, the first officer died in the accident. Let's see if that holds true.
Oh, maybe not. Okay. DR Congo's BPEA stated, based on initial reports, the aircraft was about 10 minutes into the flight when the aircraft disappeared after having apparently lost an engine. The crew attempted to return to Beni. An ELT signal was received from the Kitshanga region, about 100 nautical miles south. A search and rescue operation is in progress. On July 27th, the airline reported the aircraft has been found near Baluko, about 17 nautical miles northwest of Kitshanga. The first officer survived the accident. The captain died, however. Oh, okay. So we had a little bit of confusion there at first.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
Keep reading.
There's more.
Keep reading.
But there's more.
Starting July 26, aviation circles in DR Congo reported the aircraft had been located in the Kisimba region north of Kitshanga. These reports continue. The captain of the flight managed to find the next village, Baluko, via the aircraft's portable GPS and made contact. The captain reported that the first officer did not survive the accident. Okay, now we're back to the first officer dying. The Aviation Herald heard an audio recording identified to be the captain's voice by local aviators in a mix of Congolese, Swahili, and French. The male voice thanking God and stating he is alive.
Is there a chance this was a field promotion?
You never know.
Possibly, yeah.
He could have promoted himself.
I am the captain now.
So I guess we really don't know. I guess maybe toward the end here it said that they have, on the 29th, that's one of the last things here, they have confirmed the presence of the deceased first officer's body. Okay. All right. Well, that's sad. No, an L410, that's a single engine high wing
Twin turbo prop.
Is it a twin?
Mhm.
Oh.
Twin.
Well, then that makes you wonder, okay, so you lose an engine. These things are supposed to fly with one, right?
Well, it's the turbolet or turbolet, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
Uh-huh.
But it looks like a big airplane with not a very big wing. Just for a cargo airplane, it doesn't, the ratio seems, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if the single engine performance suffers.
I don't know, but you would think in the certification process that in this type of airplane, I mean, we've talked a lot about these L410s, and actually every time we've talked about it, it involves a crash.
Some might call that a trend.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. I'm not really extremely familiar with
This is what
the
IHOL
L410.
Boxes says.
What does IHOL Boxes say? He says, check Twin Otter equivalent-ish. Okay. Yeah. Maybe
it's a Twin
not,
Otter with a funny accent.
and perhaps maybe not the same performance as a Twin
And
Otter.
maybe old
Yeah.
equipment.
Okay. Well, that's. I don't know what else to say about that one.
No.
Okay. Well, then I think we should move on to this next one. It's sent in to us by Sam Dawson.
Yeah.
This is from the Aviation Herald as well. An incident, a Swiss A330-300, registration Hotel Bravo Juliet Hotel Kilo, performing flight 16 from Zurich to New York, JFK. With 229 people on board, was en route at flight level 320, about 100 nautical miles southeast of Bangor, Maine, when the crew decided to divert to Bangor, reporting smoke of unknown source. The crew subsequently reported that they had an active fire in the cockpit that they were unable to put out. They opened the door to the cabin to let the smoke out. The smoke subsided, but they had smoke in the cabin now. ATC relayed this information of the active fire in the cockpit and smoke being let into the cabin to emergency services waiting to receive the aircraft. The crew advised they were going to stop on the runway, but for now, we're not going to evacuate. The aircraft landed on Bangor's runway 33 about 25 minutes after leaving flight level 320. That's pretty quick. Stopped at the end of the runway, shut both engines down. The crew requested emergency services to enter the aircraft with infrared equipment to check the interior out. Let's see. Firefighters entered the aircraft via door L1, that front boarding door, but also could not identify the source of the smoke. There was no fire or heat. The airline reported. Yeah.
I thought we had already identified the source of the fire because they had an active fire in the cockpit.
Yeah, well, we don't. Actually, I don't know if they've mentioned yet what they think the source of the fire is, but I think we're going to get to that.
We get there.
The airline reported that there was an unclear development of smoke in the most forward part of the business class. The aircraft was able to land in Bangor. There was no fire or heat detected, I guess, after they got on the ground. The aircraft's now going to get checked. The airline is working to get the passengers to JFK. The FAA reported Swiss International Airlines Flight 16F safely landed at Bangor around noon on Monday, July 27, after the crew reported a cockpit fire. The Airbus A330 was traveling from Zurich, Switzerland to JFK International Airport in New York. The FAA will investigate. All right, next day, the Swiss press office asked the Aviation Herald to change the coverage to cabin smoke, which we declined based on the audio recordings and the FAA statement of cockpit fire. Subsequently, the FAA changed their wording to Swiss International Airlines, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Crew reported cabin smoke. The Airbus A330 was traveling from Zurich to, okay. So, again, we're getting a little back and forth between whether this was smoke in the cockpit, smoke in the cabin, or where it originated, etc.
I kind of love that the Aviation Herald is calling out SAS on this, though.
Yeah. I guess they're probably thinking, yeah, well, tell them it was in the cabin, because if you tell them it's in the cockpit, that's like a big deal. We don't want people.
The word fire sounds a lot worse.
Exactly. So there's a lot of going back and forth here. On July 29th, 2026, in the evening, Swiss announced that the cause of the smoke has been identified. According to checks so far, a standard commercial charging case for headphones containing lithium batteries had fallen into a seat and had been jammed, causing damage to the device so that it overheated and emitted smoke. Now, I will point out, and Liz is showing the picture, and we'll have that in the show notes for you, the actual charging case for the earbuds. But I will point out that Swiss's announcement of the cause of the smoke identified, and they say it was had fallen into a seat and had been jammed. Doesn't really say it was a cockpit seat or a cabin seat, does it?
No, that would have been nice to have heard the distinction there.
That's a good point.
Help us work out where the actual fire occurred.
I'm guessing that might be one of the pilot's charging cases, maybe. I don't know.
I definitely don't have a case that looks exactly like that in my pocket right now.
Okay, which means
less burned. Less burned,
actually,
for the record.
Okay, good. It's burning a hole in your pocket.
Okay, just as an aside, Simon
Yes,
has just
Liz.
been through a court case of being sued, so he's a little bit sensitive right now.
Yeah,
You
a
can
little
read all
gun-shy.
about it on his site. So.
Yes, good point, Liz. She's, well, you'll hear this in the audio podcast, but for those of you watching the video, she is mentioning that Simon has been sued for some of his reporting, and so he might be a little sensitive and extra careful now regarding this and making sure that he gets the facts correct. All right.
Not to suggest he hadn't got the facts correct in the
No,
case that
not
he's
at all.
being sued
No.
about. So
That's true.
Not at all, yeah.
Good point.
ongoing.
We don't want
But I
we don't
mean,
want
the
Simon to
fact
go
that-
away. We love Simon's aviation
The
herald.
fact that airlines are leaning on reporters like Simon, who are very good about getting this information out fast, gives us an awful lot of stuff to work with. The fact that they're leaning on him to change some of his reporting, I find it quite worrying, really, because he's got a great reputation.
Don't like it at all.
Well, and I kind of wonder about the FAA suddenly changing their headline too.
Yeah.
Because they said, hey, you need to change this. No, I'm not changing. This is what the FAA said. Suddenly the FAA says, no, it's what they said. What?
Yeah, it's a little sketchy, I think. Like, I mean, you wouldn't think that the FAA would bend to any pressure from a commercial airline.
Yeah. Now, in this case, I can understand entirely why Swiss are very sensitive about this, because we just have to think back to the MD-11 crash that they had when they lost the aircraft due to a fire that actually occurred in the insulation just at the back of the cockpit, the insulation between the skin and the sort of furniture that protects or provides the inside of the aircraft, and it went out of control, and they had an appalling fire grow inside the cockpit, and sadly the crew perished. So yeah, I in fact everyone perished. So I did a plain tale about it. If you're interested to go back and listen to that. Anyway, so I can understand why they're sensitive. They don't want to have anything close to a repeat of that. But on the other hand, I know that lithium fires can be very intense, but this was a very small battery, and nobody reported any fire. Well, I mean, they mentioned a fire, but no one actually found a source, until they got the seat, broke the seat apart, whichever seat it was. They haven't told us that. So, this was not a major incident. This didn't escape beyond the local area of the earbud case, by the looks of it. So, and I think the crew, of course, quite correctly decided to divert. Nothing wrong with that. But I can see that the confusion often between what the crew said, and then you get Chinese whispers between air traffic controllers and the next sector, etc., and the message gets changed. So I can understand why there might be a little bit of confusion as to exactly where the problem was. The one thing I'm not sure about is, you guys happy that the crew opened the cockpit door to let smoke out?
Yeah, I had questions about that, and then said, "Oh no, there's smoke in the cabin." Yes, you put it there.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really not too sure about that as a procedure. Now, I know as a last-ditch procedure, we might consider slowing the aircraft down, cracking a window in the cockpit, and then possibly depressurizing and open the ram air doors to get a massive airflow through the aircraft to try and clear smoke. But that really is last-ditch stuff. I'm not too sure if opening the cockpit door was part of the procedures that I had ever read.
I wouldn't think so. And it's possible that the reporting is not accurate regarding that.
Yeah.
But it does say in this report that, indeed, they opened up the cockpit door to the cabin.
Captain Nick, that plane tail was called Flowers on the Waves, and it was APG 307.
Quite a tragic story, actually. So if you've got a heart of steel, listen to it. But if you're easily upset, then it might be one to avoid.
Well, one of the things I really learned, if I remember this correctly, is that they kind of were doing their just standard, we have smoke, that we're going to run the smoke checklist and, try to figure out where the source is. And they kind of took a little bit more time than they really should have. But they were just kind of doing the standard protocol at the time.
That was the information that came out initially. When they did subsequent studies of the timing, they don't think that turning directly to the to Gander,
Halifax.
where they diverted Halifax, thank you, would have affected the outcome.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I mean, they still would have lost control of the aircraft before they got to the airport. They might have got a little closer.
Yeah,
but you're quite right.
Probably still would have been the same result.
Yeah, there were thoughts that perhaps if they hadn't adhered quite so strictly to getting the checklist done and deciding to dump fuel, they would have been better off. In fact, it wasn't the case. But I don't think that removes the validity of your comment, Jeff, because if I've got a fire that serious on the aircraft, I'm going to want to get it on the ground as soon as possible, to hell with anything else.
Right. Okay. And as mentioned, the old pilot, Captain Nick, did a plane tail on that, and you should be in your podcast playing device looking at that chapter image of it, and you can click it and you can go directly to that plane tail and hear all about that tragedy. Very good. Let's continue then with this next one. This is from the Aviation Herald. A K2 Cargo Airways Boeing 737-400 freighter, registration Alpha Papa Bravo Oscar India, performing flight 1732 from Sharjah, United Arab Emirates to Karachi, Pakistan, with 5 crew, was en route at flight level 350 over the Arabian Sea, about 150 nautical miles west of Karachi, when the crew reported problems with their navigational systems. ATC began to issue vectors. About 3 minutes later, the aircraft suddenly made heading changes and rapidly descended until impacting the sea. A search is underway. Pakistan's Airport Authority reported the K2 Airways flight with 5 crew, reported a navigational... Okay, that's basically what we just said there. Pakistan's Prime Minister said that the aircraft crashed into the Arabian Sea and expressed his deep sorrow, grief, and regret over the tragic occurrence. On the 8th of July, the PAA reported that the wreckage had been found about 53 nautical miles south of Ormara, Pakistan, after about 12 hours of intense search. The airplane had undergone maintenance in Sharjah and was positioning back to Pakistan after maintenance was completed. So it was a maintenance ferry flight. On July 9, information surfaced in Pakistan that the aircraft's inertial reference system had become faulty in Sharjah. After arrival on the 28th, repairs were done. and the aircraft was released to service on July 7th. Okay, so I hope I got those dates right. On July 9th, okay, on arrival on June 28th, and then it was released back to service on the 7th of July. On July 10th, the PAA reported that additional debris had been recovered and has been sent for analysis. The search for the black box continues, or black boxes. The waters at the crash site are between 2,500 and 3,500 meters deep. Ooh, that's pretty deep. And an uneven seabed. An underwater search and recovery operation is estimated to begin in August, with the aim to recover the FDR and the CVR.
That's about it, I think. That's the essence of it, I think.
So, yeah, that sounds suspiciously like it may have involved the inertial reference platform. Not only is it there for navigational purposes, but it also has to do with, feeding information to your attitude indicators and other essential pieces of instrumentation for instrument flight.
Yeah, but I don't know about the 7.3, but you normally have a couple of these at least, plus in a completely independent attitude indicator, which usually has its own attitude reference gyros. So I'm not familiar with the 737, so I can't mention exactly what they have. But, you normally have at least 3 independent attitude indicators. I'm a bit concerned that this aircraft, and they do mention an Arabian Boeing 737-400 that suffered a failure of one of their IRS systems in the cruise at flight level 350, very similar to this, and subsequently impacted the sea. So I'm going, why do these two accidents happen? I don't understand.
This should be as simple as click the AP disco button, continue flying.
However, that's important for sure. But now the human aspect of you're looking at the instrumentation that you normally look at. And sometimes, and I know that, probably all 3 of us have experienced this in a simulator where something fails and you're looking at it, and then all of a sudden your performance instrumentation is showing you something that doesn't make any sense. Your airspeed's your pitch is up, but your airspeed is increasing, and so you just instinctively push forward to keep the air, or do something to change whatever you're looking at. Maybe even pitch up even higher, and then get yourself
decide
into
which one to trust.
That's the key. And that's the reason why we do this in the simulator, is to recognize, oh, wait a minute, this system that I'm looking at, that I normally look at, is not working, and I have to now look at my first officers, or the first officer has to look at the captains to see if maybe one of those is making more sense. And then, as Captain Nick just mentioned, you have the standby attitude indicator system as well, which in many cases, and I think it's true in the 737, it's a much smaller display, and in the airplanes that I've flown, much smaller, and it's not comfortable to just use that as your primary display to fly the airplane into a situation where you're no longer in instrument meteorological conditions, and you can look at the big giant attitude indicator, which is the horizon, the stuff that we use when we're flying in VMC.
Some previous accidents that have occurred, I'm going to try and be as tactful as I can here. The captain's attitude indicator was the one that had failed, and he followed his attitude indicator slavishly, whilst the rest of the crew were trying to work out what was going on. Now, the incident I'm particularly thinking about occurred shortly after takeoff, so they didn't have a lot of time to do an analysis, but they flew into the water and killed everyone on board, destroyed the aircraft. It wasn't until very close to the impact did the other 2 crew members realize that the captain, it was his instrument that had failed. The first officer's was fine. Even the flight engineer in the back of the cockpit could see that which instrument had failed, but they shouted to the captain what the problem was, but he never really understood. He never really broke his concentration on trying to fly the airplane, trying to work out what was going on as he spiraled this aircraft into the ground. So, yeah, and I'm just going to mention the command authority here that applies on in some cultures. So the captain can have so much seniority and experience that the rest of the crew defer to him almost regardless, even when they know he might be in error. And it has happened. And I'm not suggesting that is, but these are the classic sort of accidents that occur when one pilot is convinced he knows what's going on, but he is the one pilot that is being deceived by a failed instrument. The rest of the crew have problems taking over from him because of the command gradient. You know, in other words, this all-powerful captain, I'm just a junior first officer. I couldn't possibly, be rude to him. And
maybe they
take
start
control.
doubting themselves and what they're perceiving.
Possibly, yeah.
I've been in and I've mentioned this a few times on the show over the years, that I was taking off out of JFK in a 727. It was my leg, and doing that, I forgot what they call that climb now, but it's like a very Canarsie climb, I think. I don't know if they still do that procedure off of runway, the runway that points to the northwest. Is that 3330?
It'll be 31, I think.
31, okay. And in the left one, the longest runway.
Yeah,
and
that's
as soon
the
as
one
you
we usually
basically
use for
just
departure there.
break, you rotate and you're just barely airborne, and they want you to start the turn right away, not wait until 400 feet above the ground. And it was night, and I did that, and then there was this like blaring amber light lighting up the cockpit, and I was turning, and my attitude indicator was not. And I knew immediately, my instrumentation is wrong, it's bad. And I don't think I looked over at him, but I said to the captain, "You have the aircraft." It was very startling for him. Like, what? What do you mean I have the aircraft? I said, my attitude indicator is like jeffed up. So, yeah. But in that case, it was quite obvious. Yeah.
Is that going to catch on more than the J number?
Maybe, but we gotta keep promoting all these things, We
need a T-shirt. Who's going to design the T-shirt?
Okay, maybe we get somebody like Peter Tarantelli to take over, and one of these days it's going to happen.
He's given up.
I think he's still sitting by the phone, just waiting for it to ring, Jeff.
Well, maybe I'll delegate the responsibility for getting all that going to someone else. Maybe one of the other.
May or may not already have his phone number. Just saying.
Okay, cool. Then
let's
I'm getting
wrap
an
up
idea.
the news with this.
Okay, let's
last
wrap up the
item.
news with this. Our producer's yelling at us. Not really yelling. Aviation Herald again. This is a final report. Ryanair Boeing 737-8 MAX. Yikes. Registration Echo India Golf India, performing flight 846 from Barcelona to Milan with 162 passengers, 6 crew, landed on Bergamo? How do you pronounce that? Bergamo? Bergamo? Okay, runway 28. But burst a number of main tires, causing damage to all main tires. The aircraft came to a stop on the runway and was disabled. Oh, yeah, this happened back in October of 2024. According to emergency services, the runway was damaged over a distance of 450 meters, about 1,500 feet. Let's see. So the ANSV reported on the 3rd of October, 2024, on Monday, 1 October at 7:55 local time, the Boeing 737 MAX 8-200 aircraft registration, which we talked about before, coming from Barcelona, suffered a burst of the 4 tires of the main landing gear during landing. No consequences for the passengers and crew. The ANSV, which has ordered the opening of a safety investigation into the event, has already acquired, during the operational inspection carried out by its own investigative team, the flight recorders of the aircraft together with other evidence. Okay, so why are we talking about it right now? Well, Not long ago, on July 28th, 2026, Italy's ANSV released their final report, concluding the probable causes of the serious incident were caused by the main landing gear wheels locking due to an incorrect sequence of actions unintentionally applied by the flight crew during landing. Okay. Occurred with anti-skid inoperative. Okay. The delayed deployment of the speed brakes caused a delayed weight on wheels. Wow. The latter with effects on the timely activation of the thrust reversers. The application of the brakes preceded the speed brakes and the weight on wheels, leading to the blockage of the wheel brakes and consequent damage of both aircraft and runway. The following contributing factors have been identified: the prevalence of automatic responses and procedural memory due to the many landings carried out with the anti-skid system active. Okay, it's working the way it's supposed to. The crew's lack of FSTD training in landing with the anti-skid system inoperative. The deactivation of both anti-skid channels, despite indications that only the inboard channel was ineffective. That's not good. Bad information there. Furthermore, it's thought that the following may also have contributed: the discrepancy between the mandatory requirements set out in the aircraft maintenance manual and the conditional requirements set out in the minimum equipment list regarding the need to disable only anti-skid channels that are faulted, the less than adequate evidence in the applicable manuals of a clear and timely sequence of the required actions to perform a landing with the anti-skid system inoperative. The differences between the two variants regarding system logic for the deployment of the thrust reversers may have contributed to the pilot flying's prolonged action on the reverse levers and possibly delayed the deployment of the speed brakes. Okay, so I guess what I'm reading here, and maybe you guys can back me up, it sounds like maybe this thing was dispatched with a minimum equipment list item of the anti-skid system inoperative, and the
sounds
crew,
like only part of the anti-skid system was inoperative, but
then
they
it
turned
sounds
off
like
all of it.
that they went ahead and turned the whole darn thing off.
Right.
That's not good.
That's like you lose an engine. You know what? Let's go ahead and turn the other one off too. It's not.
That's a good point. Yeah, we should do that. That's probably not a good idea. Yeah, but they must have been aware that at least part of the anti-skid system is inoperative, and that I'm sure that they briefed it.
This was Ryanair, right? Maybe the subscription for anti-skid lapsed.
It sounds like there might have been a slight confliction between documents, because the MEL procedure apparently required them to turn off both anti-skids, but it might have been that the AM didn't anyway. Or they just inappropriately applied the wrong MEL reference. So it's quite easy. There, under MEL in conditions, there can be several referring to very similar conditions. And if you go to the wrong one, it'll tell you to do something inappropriate, in which case, Having said that, I'm sorry, you should be able to land an airplane successfully on a 9,500 foot runway without any anti-skid. We're all kind of trained to do this. Mm-hmm. So I'm going, not too impressed.
Just to take that back to racing, I for basically my entire career, I drove cars that had no traction control system, no anti-lock brakes, no anti-skid, no driver aid system. Most of the series I ran in, that was banned in any case. Some series allowed it, and every once in a blue moon, I would drive a car with anti-skid or something similar to that. And you get, you drive with other drivers that's all they've ever driven is cars with those systems, and they've become used to it and accustomed to it. And then you drive with them in another car, and all of a sudden they're flat spotting tires left and right. It's just because once you're used to that level of assistance, not having it can be surprising. Yep. So I agree with you, Nick. It should be able to be done, but I also understand the perspective. If the last 942 landings they've done were all with anti-skid, and you become reliant on that system, suddenly it not being there, there you go.
Granted, and I can't speak because this is a 737, but I can speak for what I flew, which was when you didn't have any anti-skid, you used 1,000 psi maximum on the brake gauges, and if you exceeded that, you would expect to blow tires. So, all the way down the runway, one of you is flying the airplane and applying the brakes, and the other is calling out the amount of pressure that you've got on the gauges, so that you ensure that you don't over-brake and wreck the tires. In this case, they didn't just wreck the tires. They got halfway down the bloody rims.
Liz, can you go back to the picture with the airplane on the jack with the half rim? I think one more. That one.
That's the one.
I love that. I want that. I want that wheel as a table. Like put a piece of glass on it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely,
wow.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryanair didn't have a quick turnaround for that.
That was not a quick turnaround for sure.
No.
So it's my understanding that the crew was aware that there was some kind of an issue with the anti-skid system, which, is that true?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they accepted the aircraft with the MEL procedure applied, yes.
Yeah, so did they, I don't know, I didn't read the full report. Did they, brief the fact that, we should probably be careful? Okay.
Yep.
They did. And they still...
The flight crew prepared to land with the anti-skid system inoperative by conducting a briefing on the limitations and the correct sequence of actions to be taken. So they prepared themselves. They just didn't do what they said.
They just japped it up.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Here.
Yeah.
iHall Boxes says there's not such gauge or procedure on the 737.
Why am I not surprised?
He did follow that up with a qualifier. That I remember.
That you remember. I, when you were talking about that, Captain Nick, I'm thinking, I don't recall.
No.
American airplanes don't have that kind of technology.
It's the way we could tell how much pressure was going to the brakes on the Airbus when we're down to basically, raw hydraulics.
In a Boeing, that's what your feet are for, Nick. That's how you tell how much pressure on the brakes.
You just feel it. You just get on there and just jam it. Just jam on
those hydraulics don't give you a lot of feel,
All right, let's get to know you guys.
Okay, Liz. All right, she doesn't want us to talk anymore about this. So
man, she's just getting on us today.
That
whip. We're cracking through.
Whip.
Oh, I have pictures.
And if you do have pictures, make sure that you put them in the Getting to Know Us in Evernote, please, sir. After the fact. So I don't have to ask you. All right. Getting to Know Us, segment of the show where we get to learn what everybody's been up to between episodes. So we're not going to go to AJ first because he just realized that he wanted to share some photos with us. So his head's down. He's focused on that right now. So we're going to go ahead and go to Captain Nick first.
All right.
Yeah. What
okay.
Have you been up to?
Well, of course, while you guys are swanning around in Oshkosh having a ball, I was sitting here, and I tell you, sadly, my wife had, I don't know if I mentioned this on a previous show, had a bit of a run-in with the dog. So the dog hit her and knocked her over, and in the falling, she managed to break a bone in her ankle. And also wrench her replaced knee very badly. So she was unable to walk a lot. So I took over the dog walking duties for a few weeks. And I'm sorry to say, the extra mileage I put in, which of course was double now what I normally do, was sufficient to put my left knee, which is the dodgy one I've got a very dodgy left knee, into spasm. So it really is badly complaining. And
yes, on the last show you were waiting for a shot.
So I have mentioned this and on the last show, and I now have got an appointment for another cortisone injection into that knee, which hopefully will ease the issue, because at the moment I'm limping so badly that it's throwing my hips out.
And when is that appointment?
And it's not till the end of September, this appointment.
What?
So, yeah, I know. I've got to wait 6 weeks for that.
Oh, my
but
gosh.
I know. It's just to stick a pin in me and squirt some juice in. Come on, people.
We just got to get Steph to fly over,
Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Or I could just, go and fork out several £100 and pay for it myself. But since I've got an appointment now, I'll let the NHS do it for me. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm struggling a bit, mobility-wise and standing for any length of time, which is a bit of a shame. However, I am still playing my pétanque and managed to get a place in the melee we had. We have a monthly competition in the club, most of the club members. And I think I put a picture in keynote. It was called the Millionaires Melee because instead of a money prize, they give you scratch cards so you can win $1 million. So I dressed up as a classic British millionaire there in very good taste.
He looks like a, one of those. What am I trying to say?
I don't know. What's Liz trying to say?
We're not sure what you're trying to say.
A
Pimp?
Pop star? I don't know.
Yeah, pimp is good. But
rapper from 1999.
Hip hop star or something like that.
With my bad hip and the fact that I'm now hopping on one leg.
No, see that's perfect, Nick, because then you have the walk, right? You have that. Yeah, it's a whole.
You know what? If Nick was a millionaire, he could pay to go and get the shot privately. So
I could pay to have it done privately if I was a millionaire. You're quite right. And what else happened? We had a good competition against another club, and we did well. In fact, I had a little team, myself and one other bloke. Having won our first game, we played a second game against two of their top players, and we fannied them. Now, they had to kiss the fanny because it's a term in playing pétanque. If you whitewash somebody, in other words, they don't score a point and you get your 13, so you win the game. It's called a fanny. Which is okay in, I guess, in America because and in France, I guess. In the UK, it's slightly ruder because the fanny is positioned somewhere else. But for you, lovely Americans, it means kissing the bottom of the lady. And you usually get, there's an old-fashioned French picture here we're showing of some chap kissing the painting of a half-naked lady. And he's having to kiss the painting on the lady's bottom. So that's the tradition. If you get fannied, you have to go and kiss. Sometimes it's a wooden carving, sometimes it's a picture or whatever. But anyway, everyone knows what happens if you get fannied. So that's been good. Some success. Now, while I'm on the bell here, I have control. I'm going to ask Liz to stick up the artwork. Now, we had lots of good suggestions. Pan Clipper, Man Pads Keep the Cockpit Dry, Captain's Travelogue Lake Whatever, Garrulous Old Gits for both captains, but the one I liked was Vulcan Crews Live Long and Prosper. And of course, you can read this two ways because it can either be a Vulcan from Star Trek or it could be a Vulcan pilot from the Royal Air Force V-bombers, the Vulcan, I guess. Anyway, we've got a pair of Vulcans flying this. I don't know, what do you reckon that is? Yes, indeed. What do you reckon?
One of them's married. He's got a wedding ring on.
Yeah. He is, yeah.
The first officer.
What do you reckon the airplane that is? It looks vaguely 737-ish, I guess.
But it has like 4 engines, though, as far as the instrumentation.
I can't see 4 throttles.
I don't see 4 throttles, no, but I do see 4 rows of instruments, engine instruments. So
very true.
I don't see any throttles, actually.
Yeah, I don't see any throttles either. I see a speed brake handle.
They do it with their mind.
Mind control. That's exactly what I was going to say, Liz. Mind control.
Excellent. So they're giving the live long and prosper signs. Anyway, let's have a look. The penguins there, I didn't hide them very much
No, very
because
prominent.
we've got pointy-eared Vulcan pilots and a pointy-eared penguin up there. So that was that. Now, did anyone find the show number and the logo? Okay, keep going then, Liz. This picture here shows on this pilot's right breast, on the golden patch there, you see the logo there? There you go, you found it, showing up. And the show number is on the checklist on his control column, on the yoke there, the top right-hand corner, B717, there you go.
Wow.
And we did talk about, of course, the 717, being... Oh, yeah, it's all right, isn't it? That's okay.
Right.
Well, he's made a few that were pretty easy, so he had to make one a little more difficult.
That's a good one, Nick.
Indeed. So there you go. That was last week's. So this week's, we're
Very
not
nice.
sure what it'll be yet.
Nope.
That's it from me.
All right. Very good. Alpha Juliet, Lord Alpha Juliet, would you like to continue the segment with what you have been up to, sir? And we missed you last week. You weren't able to join us.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make it. If you guys haven't, doing stuff in the morning. I don't do morning stuff. I mean,
you had something going on. Starts with a W.
It's this annoying thing I have to keep going to. Yeah, work. Work.
Okay, work.
Work.
Okay.
Gotcha. I hate saying it. Just normal work this week. Had a wonderful time at Oshkosh with you, obviously, since the last time I've spoken with the peoples. Had a great flight back. Pretty smooth. Stopped off at Janesville again on the way back. Same place we stopped on the way up. And but this time the diner was open, so I managed to get a delicious brunch. Had a nice hash with a couple of eggs and potatoes and whatnot. And we all had a nice breakfast, nice little relaxed trip back. And kind of reassimilated into normal life and routine.
Society.
And had one last week with the kids out of school. Got to spend some time doing some things and kind of just hanging out and enjoying the last little bit of freedom. And my oldest just turned 17 on this past Friday, so I had a nice birthday dinner, cooked dinner on Friday, and then she loves sushi. So we went out for a nice sushi dinner to one of our favorite places nearby the house on Saturday. And again, back to work. So just
work.
Yeah. But I get to go out tonight, so I'm very excited for that because I believe you and I are going to go have dinner.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Right. Yeah, well, a lot of the, I carried some, not a lot, but some equipment and items up to AirVenture. And
did you drop off the stuff in Canada we talked about?
We're not supposed to talk about that.
Right. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna meet up and enjoy a meal together.
Is this a segue into your getting to know us now?
I think it might be,
I think it's
Liz.
perfect.
Okay.
Almost like we planned it.
We recorded last week's show up in Owen Sound, Georgian Bay, Lake Huron, and Western Ontario, Canada, you'll recall. And that was so much fun to be sitting right next to producer Liz and recording the show. And we just had a great time. I had a great time. I don't know if she did, but
it was great.
Yeah. And
then we went out for lunch the next day.
Yeah, we went out to lunch the next day to a really nice, what would you have? It was like a bakery
really a cheesemonger.
A cheesemonger?
A fromagerie, but
fromagerie.
They sell food there too. But we had great grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh my gosh. So Liz had arranged to get some sourdough loaves ordered, and she picked them up from this place a few days before I arrived. And so she knew that this place used this bakery's wonderful sourdough for their sandwiches. And we both had grilled cheese sandwiches. And hers was like a 10-year cheddar.
10-year cheddar. Oh, God, it
Yeah.
was beautiful.
It was really, really tasty. And I had something that was
it
similar.
moldy?
No, it was not moldy.
No. You'd think,
Okay.
after
10
just a couple of
years,
years.
wow,
it
that's
might
impressive.
be. Really. I think they probably kept it wrapped up or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vacuum sealed.
Yeah. The thing that I had was like a sandwich, like a French onion soup sandwich with caramelized onions and Gruyere.
Soup
cheese.
sandwich kind of sounds like soup in a bag.
And
it doesn't sound great on paper.
Yeah, no, it was much better than what you're imagining right now.
But he also had soup.
I did have soup. I had the red pepper and tomato soup. Because I don't know about
soup
you.
with your soup sandwich.
So I don't know about you, but my mom, every time she made grilled cheese sandwiches for me,
100% tomato soup.
When we were kids, tomato soup. So that's why I ordered
grilled cheese
it,
with bacon dipped in the tomato soup. That is perfect. That is nirvana.
Mine didn't. Oh, yours had bacon? Mine did not have bacon. I wish I should have ordered that extra. But anyway, it was lovely. What else, Liz? All this talk about sushi and grilled cheese and everything else is making my stomach growl. Yeah, it was a very lazy kind of a normal cottage experience, and had a great time.
And then you departed on Friday morning.
Friday morning, I left early Friday morning, and it was about a 7-hour drive or so south, and made it to a place just to the north of Dayton, Ohio, Sydney, Ohio, and spent the night there, and then got another early start the next morning, a Saturday morning, and
you made it to
I made it back to the SPC, St. Peter Chanel Catholic Church, to sing in the vigil mass on Saturday afternoon, and I wasn't there quite when rehearsal started, but I got there before the mass did. So, and my choir director Jane said, as long as you can get here in time to announce the first hymn and sing for the mass,
Jeff,
I'm good.
Let's be honest. You don't need rehearsal. Come on.
I do.
You're
actually.
a pro. You're a pro.
I do.
You don't need rehearsal.
I do, because I have trouble with like words. Like a lot of these hymns.
I've never noticed that.
Well, it's even worse when I sing. I know it's hard to imagine how it could be, but yeah.
I thought the whole point of singing was you didn't have to enunciate the words quite specifically.
Not with my choir director. No, you have to over enunciate the words.
Now, Jeff, on
Yes,
another
ma'am.
topic, you've got some photos here to share with everybody.
I do have some. Let me. You know what I'm going to do? Liz?
Speaking of food,
I'm going to. I always forget to do this, so I'm now going to the Getting to Know Us note. Oh, and there you're right. There are. There's an item there that I wanted to mention, because last episode I didn't mention this. I mean, there were so many people and so many things, so many events, hops and props and all the other, the gumbo night at the Cherokee, what do you call it? Cherokee City?
Comanche Town. And
Comanche Town.
You may have now been banned for calling it Cherokee.
Okay, now
anything.
I'm not going to be invited ever again. Sorry.
That was the end for you. I'm sorry.
I'll edit that out, so they'll never know unless they're watching the video. Okay.
But I will know.
I know.
That's
okay. Well, I guess next, what was that, a Tuesday that the gumbo thing was?
Usually Tuesday, yes.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to figure out something else to do on Tuesday next year. Anyway, so one of the first days, I think the first day of AirVenture, Monday morning, Stephen Dunn, one of our friends, and fellow pilots, and he flew up with you, didn't he, in the 206?
Yes, he is also the long-suffering director of maintenance for our flying club. So me and him spend a lot of time commiserating over what these people do to these airplanes.
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, I met Stephen when we did the Sun and Fun thing in April. And so got to see him again. Well, anyway, he was wondering how to get to the media center, the media tent, and that kind of thing. I said, well, I'll show you. So we were walking early morning, Monday morning on the flight line, not quite to the Boeing Plaza area. And just out of nowhere, these guys pop out from our left to right. And I'm thinking, oh, how rude. These people just like walked right in front of us. So if you'll show there you are. you're showing the proper one. This is exactly the two gentlemen. Now, Stephen and I are in the middle, and Guy and Felix left and right. From the Farol de Pouso podcast. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. That's
Pouso.
That's Portuguese. It's a Brazilian aviation podcast that they started, and it's quite an involved activity, source of information and help and everything. We'll have a link to their website in the show notes so you can check it out. But they had me on their show a couple of years back. They interviewed me, and they said, it's a Brazilian podcast. And I said, is it in English? And they said, nope, it's in Portuguese. And I go, well, is anybody going to be able to understand me? Turns out that yes, because the reason why they knew about the Airline Pilot Guy show many, many, many years ago was that they needed to have some kind of an aviation podcast where guys and gals were talking in English to kind of get an idea of how things are said in the aviation language in English.
The lingo.
The lingo, yeah. And so they have been recommending. That's why we have a lot of Brazilian listeners, because of them, because of Felix and Guy. They said, listen to the show, because this is the way they pronounce these things, and which is kind of scary when you think about it. But using us as an authoritative source. But anyway, so they had me on the show and blah, blah, blah. And of course, I was speaking English because I can barely speak that. I can't speak Portuguese at all. Anyway, so it was great seeing them, and they said, let's get together, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, hey, by the way, there's a picture that Liz is showing of them hanging out. This is one of the places they hung out underneath this beautiful float plane. And then another
what
here.
Kind of plane is that?
That's probably a single otter. I don't know. What is it?
It's a
190?
It's a nice beaver.
Oh, it is a nice beaver.
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Did
you just have it stuffed?
Yes. Here's another shot of some more people involved in this community under the right wing of a beautiful DC-3 in U.S. Air Force colors. But anyway, they mentioned to me that they were going to have this Brazilian barbecue on, I think it was Thursday night. Was that right?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Look
Thursday.
at all that meat. Wow.
And so, thanks for noticing.
I know.
There was a lot of meat.
There was a lot of meat.
So
so we were invited to their B&B, which they've been using for many years. And they've quite a community of Brazilian and Brazilian related aviators that show up.
Very, very different experience than what we had at our Airbnb.
Yes, quite.
We got
different.
to meet the owner, and she was fantastic.
Yeah, she was. We had an interesting experience with our. I really didn't talk about it on the last show.
Oh, didn't cover that?
No.
Oh, you didn't talk about being homeless?
No. It was a thing, but we can talk about it some other time, maybe.
Okay.
Or when we're in the bar drinking beer, just say, "Hey, what's the deal with that B&B? What happened?" Anyway. So we showed up here to the end, and as Liz has showed us in a previous photo there of the grill and all the meat, and it was just amazingly good barbecue, and got a chance to talk with a bunch of great folks from Brazil and other places in the world. And there's a photo of us, a group photo, and now it's quite dark, but we were still having a great time, drinking lots of beer and eating a lot of meat.
It was every 25 seconds, someone would come around with a plate that had some stacked delicious steak on it. And it was just bite size, and you take a little bite of steak, and you take a little bite of bread, and you say thank you. And then they turn around, and they turn right back and go, hey, would you like another one?
Yeah.
No,
sometimes
you should have another one.
They stay there, and you take some of it, and then they just keep holding it. Okay, keep taking more.
I felt like you had to keep taking bites until the person with the plate was satisfied. Like, not until you were full, until they were satisfied that you had had enough.
Now, did you
I love
actually
that.
took
I ended
over,
up being the person with the plate at one point. I don't know how that happened. I got handed a plate. And they're like, here
I
you
think
go.
Felix
I'm like,
just
okay.
handed it to you and said, okay, go. Like
ready to go.
Give people meat.
I understand the assignment.
Yeah, it was great. Great time. So I just wanted to mention to you all and about their amazing podcast and
Hospitality.
and hospitality for sure. So
And business that they're working with, doing the same thing of helping international pilots learn English. I think that was, we talked about that some. That's really cool.
Yep, it is. And so Guy and Felix fly for major airlines in the Middle East. So that's why it was very critical for them to learn
Acme
the
Sandbox.
English language, the aviation
Sandbox.
language.
I like
Acme
that.
Sandbox. Okay. Yeah, sure. Anyway. All right.
People call the Middle East the Sandbox.
Yeah, do they? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm trying to find. Did I have anything else here? Oh yeah, there was one more thing that I wanted to mention. I thought I put it in here, but maybe I didn't. The last show, someone, I think it was Jonathan in Minnesota, was mentioning that his preferred method of listening to our show was via the Amazon Music. And then I said, well, I'll put the RSS feed and then you can manually, do this for whatever podcast client you're using. And then I thought, I should probably check it out and see if I can fix the Amazon Music feed. So those of you out there who are still using Amazon Music or would like to go back to it to use, to listen to our show, I fixed it. I was able to.
Fixed it.
I was able to claim the Airline Pilot Guy show and feed and fixed the actual feed that works. So all the episodes, the current episodes are there. So just wanted to mention that.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, let's do some coffee fund.
Okay. Coffee fund.
Johnny, how much more coffee?
No thanks.
I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
Oh, yeah. The Coffee Fund is your way, dear listener, to support our show financially if you'd like. It's a free show. We enjoy doing it, but it is nice when people give us some financial support to help offset some of the costs of doing the show. So if you're interested, a couple different ways to do this. One is the OG, the original method. It's a PayPal donation site, and it's called the Coffee Fund Classic. And since we've been kind of
we're catching up.
Yeah, we're catching up with a backlog of people who have contributed. And so using the Coffee Fund Classic method, we have Wilfred Bagg.
Willie Bagg.
Willie Bagg in Australia. Jenny in Rome. George Hollis, I think. I'm not sure exactly where George is. Maybe Canada. I don't know. And then Trevor Bear in Canada for sure. And he was also at Oshkosh. And a couple of these folks sent messages for us to read on the show. Will from Melbourne said he's currently living in Irvine, Southern California, or he's in, I don't know if he's living there, making a requested contribution to the, quote, Save the 717 Fund. Thanks as always for the great show. Now, the reason why he's saying that, last episode was 717. And Captain Nick was talking about the ancient, what was that? The dinosaur aircraft museum,
the dinosaur
park,
yes.
And did an interview of the keeper, Jeff, the keeper, me, and we talked about how you could send your contributions to the Coffee Fund, and we'll funnel them to the Save the 717 Fund. So there you go. That's his reference. And then Trevor says, hello, Liz and Jeff submitted an altimeter drop Coffee Fund donation back in July. But since I did it via Venmo, including the processing fees, I wanted to make sure that the full 29.92 came through to you. Okay, so altimeter drop, the standard datum plane, which is when we set 29.92 inches of mercury in our barometric altimeters. So that's the reference there.
So you got it.
He says, I know the coffee fund is on. Yeah, I did get it. Yes, Trevor. I know the coffee fund is on a brief hiatus from the show, but Venmo didn't let me add a note to the donation, so I figured I'd follow up. So here he is, sending his note. He said, I wanted to include some well wishes about looking forward to seeing everyone at AirVenture. And they said, in parentheses, which I did, and was great. Yeah. Sorry, didn't really get to spend much time or any time with you, Trevor. He said, that said, I'm sorry I missed getting to speak with you, Jeff, though my good friend Nick Collett, the Cargo Lux 747 pilot from the UK, said he had a lovely time speaking with you at Props and Hops. Unfortunately, I had to leave the event early for another commitment, so I missed getting the chance to talk, and you seemed busy enough during the live recording at the RVS on Wednesday. Yeah, well, next time, Trevor, just, that doesn't matter. Even if it looks like I'm busy, just come up and talk. Barge right in. Please know that being part of the community you've created continues to be a highlight of every Osh visit. Looking forward to Osh 27 and best, Trevor. It's a very nice note. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have several people. We have it's been a long time since we've had a new patron via Patreon. Andrew last month signed up to be a producer. So Andrew Gordon is from Down Under as well. So thank you very much, based on his email address anyway.
Good job.
Yeah. So welcome to Patreon. And if you're interested in learning about how you can become part of the Coffee Bar Club, donate to the coffee fund, please head over to airlinepilotguide.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did, and we will too.
Captain, incoming message.
All right, thank you. We're going to start with this, number 6, feedback from Michael Weller. First-time feedback and question. Captain Jeff, Captain Nick, Dr. Steph, and everyone else, Kathy and I are long listeners, all the way back to Catholic guy. It's actually Catholic pilot, actually. We have the syndrome and love the show. This is the first time I've ever sent in feedback. Here's my question. Starter override access hole is printed on a 737 engine. There is a hole with a cover on it with, quote, close and open. It also states, caution, starter system must be pressurized during manual operation. Also, the starter override access hole is forward of the red line wherein you'll get sucked into the engine. Does this mean that if your starter isn't working, someone from the ground crew is going to manually crank the engine like a pre-electric starter car? No, not quite. We'll talk about this here in a second. Let me continue his feedback here. Macho Man, thank you for keeping history alive with Betsy's Biscuit Bomber. My father maintained them in World War II. Captain Nick, although it's way past episode 666, there is a B-17 from World War II with that tail number that might make a good Plain Tales episode. Also, Captain Nick, we know how much you love balloons. There are companies that use a divider between you, your partner, and the balloon operator that allows you to join the Mile High Club. One of the operators is Magical Adventure Balloon Rides based in the Temecula Valley wine country in California. Just thought you'd find this amusing. Blue skies and tailwinds. Just only Captain Nick find that amusing.
Yeah, no, we don't find it amusing.
Okay, so how do we want to tackle this? You want to go with the last ones first, or you want to talk about
I can go with the last one first. I mean, it's all very well until you have an accident, and then, in the subsequent Board of Inquiry, they're all trying to work out why 2 of the occupants of the balloon were found naked.
Sans clothing. Pants down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Huh. Interesting.
Anyway, what else we got?
666.
We deal with, although it's way past episode 666, there's a B-17 from World War II that has that tail on. You're quite right. And if you look in the Plain Tales episodes, I did one on August 29th, 2022 called the Eager Beavers. And that was all about this particular B-17.
So you're saying he was correct that it would make a great plane tail?
Well, it did.
And it did.
Great, yes.
It did.
It did make a great plane tail because they were a very brave crew and they did a great job. But it's already out, I'm afraid, so I can't very well redo it. But you just need to have a hunt for it. The Eager Beavers.
The Eager Beavers. Okay.
Yep. What else we got? I can do the starter override access hole if you want.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
Well, I don't know if it's because our CFM 56s are the same as the 737s, or they must be similar, that we had on the 340. But no, if the automatic valve that turns and feeds pressurized air into the engine to start it isn't working, you can manually override it. So we used to do that every now and again if we had a sticky valve in the Airbus. So, yep, you use the APU or an external power supply. It doesn't matter which. And then you've got to have the guy on the headset is the best way. Otherwise, it becomes a little bit tricky. Mm-hmm. When you want to crank the engine, you tell the guy to turn the valve, and then the valve should then allow the aircraft engine to start being rotated by the air pressure that you're providing through the APU or through the external power. And when it gets to the appropriate RPM, you can put the engine master on and the fuel on, and it should light up. And then when it gets to self-sustaining speed, you can ask the guy to close that valve, and Bob's your uncle. You've got it started. So there you go. It's just a way to get around the problem of a sticky air starter valve
and I think that's
engine.
That's you mentioned that was that access panel hole or whatever was forward of that red line that says don't get ahead of this because you might get sucked in. Well, the thing is, these maintenance personnel are pretty aware of jet engines and how they tend to, suck people into them if you're not. Usually.
I've seen a few videos.
But I was going to say that you're probably wondering, like, it must be, of course, the most experienced mechanic out there to do this kind of job. And I'm thinking probably the youngest or most junior probably is the one that they send back there to open up that door.
Yeah, the old guys aren't that stupid.
I know. That's the reason why they're old guys.
Exactly right. I probably did it a couple of times in my whole career, but that was all.
Yeah. I remember mostly in the 727 days, I remember the JT8D having to be manually, or the pneumatic valve manually opened with I don't know if that was a special wrench or just some kind of a standard generic wrench, but yeah, it was not uncommon. Hall Boxes says, if the ground crew follows procedures correctly, they'll stand aft of the red line on the cowling, but inevitably their arm will be forward of the line to reach the hole. Yeah, very good. They're very savvy. And then AJ said, in response to Hall Boxes, they don't use that arm much anyways. Yeah, they use the one that they're probably, like if they're right-handed, they'll use their left arm. And,
right. Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Right. You got to be practical about these things.
Become left-handed. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, number 16, and then Captain
All
Nick
right, number 16. Let me scroll down to
Captain
that.
Nick to take over.
Okay, Captain Nick, it's you have control.
Oh God, 16 was it? 16. Sorry, I was busy typing in the show. Possible.
It's exactly what you want to hear from your captain. You have control. Oh God.
Yeah. I got a lovely email from Jeff, who was not Captain Jeff.
Hebert.
Jeff Hebert, who is a Canadian pilot.
He is also Captain Jeff,
He was coming to London. He got a bit of a long layover, an extra day, basically. And after parking up his Maple, what do we call it? ACME Maple aircraft. He asked me. He wanted to go to either the RAF Museum in London or Brooklands Museum, and which should I recommend? Well, I wasn't sure where he was, but I thought, well, he's probably in central London, and the RAF Museum that Jeff has been to, we took him up there 4th of July a couple of years back for a big meet-up, which was great fun, is on the Underground. So it's much easier to get to if you're in central London. And I think it's a good museum. It's got about 6 hangars full of aircraft, but of course it's all RAF stuff rather than anything else. Anyway, he did write to me and said, thank you for your input and recommendations for my London layover. I did end up visiting the RAF Museum in Hendon near London. I was amazed to see this old aircraft hangar line, well preserved, in the middle of this growing modern London suburb. There was not enough time to read all of the comprehensive information provided in the 6 hangars, but I did manage to tour them all. Well done, old chap. Of course, I paid particular attention to the machines you flew, very kind, and the one my grandfather maintained in World War II. So here's a few pictures of the Tornado. Yeah, the nice thing about the Tornado there, it's in 43 Squadron colours, which was my first squadron. The Phantom, which is not in 43 Squadron colours, but it is an RAF style Phantom. We had a few differences between ours and the American one. The Hornet would have required some RAAF input, Royal Australian Air Force input. Yeah, we didn't operate the Hornet. We wish we had, but there you go. And the Lancaster displayed there. Of course, an RAF installation tour without pictures of the iconic Battle of Britain, Hurricane, Spitfire, and BF-109. Yes, we've got the Germans are represented with the main opposition aircraft, although I think the Focke-Wulf 190 was even more formidable than the BF-109, although the BF-109, there were many more of them during the Battle of Britain. Would not be a complete report. As you said, it's an easy transit ride from London to get into Hendon and back. Nice little pub, the Beaufort. I think that's the same pub we went to.
I think so,
Jeff.
July 4th, yeah.
Yeah, nearby for some refreshments. Nothing was amiss. Many thanks again, and I hope to tour some other aviation attractions in your company at the next layover opportunity, because I did say to Jeff, who is an A330 captain, we'd have a lot to talk about. If he wanted to have a look round Brooklands, I would try and help by picking him up from a appropriate railway station like I did Stefan, and take him to the airport in my motor car,
Do we
which
think
would
this
work
is Jeff
fine.
in front of the Lancaster here?
Yeah, he looks.
There's Captain Jeff.
He's a big chap. He can simultaneously reach 2 engines. Look at that. I'm impressed.
Talk about a wingspan.
Yeah, that's good. Good job. Anyway, lovely to hear from you, Jeff. Glad you enjoyed your visit. And next time, we'll definitely try and get together.
Very good.
All right, Captain Jeff, toddle up. Captain Nick, toddle
Oh,
up. then.
apparently, I have the con. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll see you next week.
All right, very good.
Good to see you, Nick.
Have a good rest.
Bye, everybody.
From Peter Tarantelli, our future merge guy.
Soon to be. Soon to be.
Yeah.
Peter, keep your phone on.
Cockpit Voices is the title of his feedback. The female voice used on the 717 is shown at the end of this YouTube short. And he said, sound familiar? Or he asks, sound familiar? Yeah, it did. And he's right. It's at the very, very end of this, but I'll just go ahead and play.
Good thing it's short.
But the whole video is not. But I think it's worth listening to.
It's literally called a short.
I know, but you'll see what I mean. It's not as short as some of them, that's for sure. But this is from Mentor Pilot, and he talks about, Petra, I'm not sure, or something, Petra. Anyway, let's hear what he has to say about the voices that we hear when we're flying.
Whose voice is this?
Stall.
Or this?
Pull up.
Airliners, military jets and many other big and small aircraft often use some form of voice warning system, alongside with oral warnings like chimes, bells and cavalry charges. Many of these voice warnings are for use in normal operations, for example to call out altitudes as we're coming in for landing.
1,500, 400.
But some are really important for emergencies, like warning us about traffic or rising terrain.
Traffic.
Caution. Terrain.
And quite a few other things as well. Now these systems are so vital that in Boeing aircraft, at least before the first flight of the day, we check that some of these callouts are working properly, just to be sure. And sometimes when you are boarding, you might actually hear that.
Don't sink. Glide slow.
Plus 100.
Pull up.
Radio altimeter.
So who are the people that recorded these voice commands? Well, we actually know the names of quite a few voice actors who were used for these callouts, particularly for military aircraft, although many of them weren't really professional voice actors at all. Instead, quite a few worked for the company that made these planes and were then just picked for this extra role. So F-16 pilots hear warning calls recorded by Erica Lane.
Altitude, pull up, warning.
F-18 Hornet and Super Hornet pilots are yelled at by Leslie Shook.
Altitude, fuel, low, APU, fire.
Eurofighter Typhoon pilots are looked after by Sue Milne.
Speed low, recover.
And there are quite a few others as well. Interestingly, military planes tend to use female voices, for which the pilots tend to have quite a few rude nicknames. Unfortunately, we don't know the names of the male voice actors used for the callouts in Boeing and Airbus airliners. Airbus has actually gone through a couple of different voices, one with a French and a newer one with a British accent, both anonymous. The one voice in an airliner whose name we do know is the female in Boeing 717s, Patricia Hoyt, who also supplied her voice for the military C-17.
Stall.
Stall.
She sounds so just kind of aloof and bored. Stall.
Mm-hmm.
You're stalling. It's not really
You're
my problem,
stalling.
but you should probably do something about that.
Yeah, but when you're actually in the airplane, well, in the simulator, I've not actually been in the airplane and heard that. Thank goodness.
That's good.
Yes, but in the simulator you hear it a lot, and yeah, it's louder, and that it gets your attention.
It's a bit jarring. Yeah.
Yeah, it is jarring. It doesn't sound so calm at all. And the reason why she was the one that did the 717 and the C-17, both McDonnell Douglas products, and I think she must have worked for McDonnell Douglas.
Did she sound familiar to you? Like, did you go, oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah. In fact, some of the altitude call-outs also from different companies with the male voice, calling out the altitudes sounded familiar to me too.
Wasn't there I feel like I watched a YouTube video maybe a year or two ago that was a kind of a mini documentary about Patricia Hoyt and how she ended up doing the voices. It was like they were like, this is total memory, so it could be entirely wrong, but I think I remember something like she was around when they were trying to test the initial iteration of the system. And they said, "Oh, hey, Patricia, come here. We need one extra person.
We need
just say this into this microphone."
Yeah,
and it was purely as a test. It wasn't supposed to be used in the production version and all that. And she ended up doing this whole swath of all these alerts and stuff. They're like, "Hey, you did it great. You're just going to keep doing it, okay?"
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I think you're right. I think that it was completely unplanned and no audition or anything. It's just okay. That works. Sounds good.
Well, she happened to walk by the right doorway at the right time.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you, Peter. Okay, let's go to number 11 because we're still, we still have recent memory of that wonderful time at EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh.
You remember it?
I do. I actually still remember that. Yeah, thank you,
remember
AJ.
Bits and pieces.
Okay, Christopher Larmore. I think that's the way he pronounces it, but I'm not sure because he didn't say that to me. He just said his name was Christopher. Osh Jeff sighting. And Osh is exciting, but he had a Jeff sighting, which is not as exciting. And he said, I picked Jeff up in the handicap cart today.
What are you doing using the candy cap cart, Jeff? That's for people who really need it.
Well, so I'm walking along. I wasn't very far at all from the Piper display on that main road that goes from the entrance all the way to Boeing Plaza. And I hear somebody yelling at me, "Hey, you need a ride?" And I'm thinking, do I look like I'm that old and that bad off? But and then so I said, yeah, sure. And then he says, "Hey, I wanted to say hi to you because I'm a fan of the show." So Christopher, thank you very much for that. He said, in reality, I recognized him and offered the ride for his superstar status and wanted a selfie. That's what's funny is that I'm not a superstar, but
So
anyway.
the photo will be in the show notes for those.
Yeah, the show notes will have the photo of Christopher and myself. And I'm wearing a T-shirt that I received from Oshkosh last year from the Total Pilot Network. I believe that's what this stands for, right? No, just the T stands for the Pilot Network. And I'm wearing, look, one of the rare instances where I'm actually wearing a ball cap. I'm wearing the ACME Airlines.
Not just wearing a ball cap, but the right ball cap.
Yeah, I know. It's like
You got to mail one of those, remember?
Oh, yeah, I do. I have to send one of those.
Was that the female one, Liz?
No, what she means is I have to, the verb, mail, M-A-I-L. To someone.
Post it.
Yeah. I still have
Post it on Instagram?
I still have the browser tab still in my Chrome browser, Liz, to remind me.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll go, what is this?
I'll keep harassing you. Don't
Thank you. All right.
I'm sorry, Liz. I can't help myself.
Next one.
Number 12, Jeff?
12, yeah. From Martin Kemp, Oshkosh Show. Hi, Jeff and crew. I'm sad to have missed Oshkosh this year. We were all set to do it, and then I had a work trip just before and was too jet-lagged. It was such a great feeling to hear your show from Osh with all the lovely folks who attended and spoke. RJ's reading of Launchpad's piece was so moving to me. Being a Brit in the U.S., I was especially excited to see and meet the Red Arrows, but I did get a challenge coin from them, at least. I was especially excited to see and meet the Red Arrows, but I did get a challenge coin for... Oh, I think what he means is because he wasn't there, he didn't see them. But he did get a challenge coin.
He must have gotten a challenge coin at another event.
At another event when he saw the Red Arrows. Okay. We're a little confused. Sorry, Martin. I look forward to making it up there next year with my kids so they can experience the Brigadoon of Aviation. That's something that Launchpad Marzari spoke of in RJ's reading, the Brigadoon of Aviation, which is AirVenture. Blue skies and tailwinds, except on takeoff. Martin Kemp. You'll remember he's the ForeFlight guy from the professional commercial cockpit, or commercial flight deck division of
Flight Deck Pro.
Flight Deck Pro. Thank you. All right.
I think what he was saying there was he was very excited to go to the show and see the Red Arrows and meet them, but he was sad that he missed that. But in the past, he has in fact gotten a challenge coin from them.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Two separate
parts
of that sentence.
Okay. Well, I just jeffed that up. Here's some feedback from Rick Kowalczyk. If you thought that the C5 was big, ... Greetings, Captain Jeff and team. The link below I sent talks about a partnership with the builders of this new aircraft called the Windrunner. But the reason I sent this link is that it has a YouTube video attached to it that describes this new aircraft. Like my subject of this email says, if you thought the C5 was huge, it will be interesting if they get this built and see it fly. So he sent us a link, and also there's a clip source from AINonline.com. But we're going to attempt to play the video.
It is a bit of a long video, but it is
just a little
fantastically
taster.
interesting.
Yeah, we probably will not play the entire thing. Let's see, where is that? Oh, did I not put that in there? Ooh, we're not going to play any of it.
I guess we're not playing the video.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
but
sorry.
it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. I'm sorry. I thought that I had done that, but apparently I skipped this one.
I actually did some show prep, which I know might blow some people's minds. But
yeah,
so that airplane is actually kind of fascinating. It is I think he said twice as long as a 767, or twice as long as a 767, the fuselage.
Mm-hmm.
It has the same wingspan as a something smaller. It was another Boeing. So not a huge, it's not a giant, massive, I think it was a smaller wingspan than the A380, but it has 9 times the volume of a 777.
Wow.
That's massive.
Impressive. Yeah, the picture that we're looking at of the Wind Runner, the C242, I guess is the designation in this artist's rendering. And it has that same double tail or twin tail kind of setup at the back of the aircraft, probably for, I don't know, stability and rudder authority. It seems like, it almost looks like with the artist's rendering here that the 4 engines, 2 on each wing, almost like they should put more engines on this darn thing, right? Needs to have at least 6.
They don't need it.
No?
This thing takes off and lands in less than 2,000 meters. I think it was 1,800 meters, and lands, and it doesn't require any more. It was the airstrip needs to have the same weight capability as a C-130.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like the numbers they were putting out were just mind-boggling for this massive airplane to land in. I think the actual number was like 1,800 meters. That is very, very, very small area for a very big airplane.
Well, here's a paragraph. The 4-engine model, which will have this, I'm wondering, the way they say that, is there going to be a 2-engine model or something? So, well, anyway, the 4-engine model.
Could be like the Antonov, where they make a big one and a medium one.
Yeah. Which will have the same wingspan as the Airbus A380, as you mentioned, AJ, is expected to offer a payload limit of 160,000 pounds. However, what should set the Wind Runner apart is its vast volume of 240,000 cubic feet, with enough space for 4 F-16 fighters or 6 Chinook helicopters.
And in the video, they said they don't have to disassemble the Chinooks at all.
Wow.
So they're green lit. Right up until they roll them into the airplane. They can roll the whole unit out of the airplane and unfold the rotors
taxi
and take
the darn
off.
thing right into it and right out of it, you know?
Basically. Yeah. That's because a big deal about transporting, especially helicopters, is there's a lot of things that have to be taken apart or, disassembled to some extent. And so there's time involved in bringing the aircraft back up to flight status after you've transported it. So there's extra time on either end. Apparently, according to this, there's 0 of that time. Roll it out, fold out the rotors, take off. That's pretty cool.
That is. Well, the company that is proposing to make this airplane is Radia or Radia. I'm not sure how.
They call it Radia.
Radia, okay. Radia's engineering team has already completed initial wind tunnel tests and conceptual design. The company, which was founded in 2016, is giving itself until late 2029 to build what it says will be the first production-conforming aircraft for flight testing. Founder and CEO Mark Lundstrom told AIN there is no need to build prototypes, and that the path to type certification will be straightforward because it is using already in-service technology. That's still kind of like, what? I mean,
they're talking about having an airplane ready for certification in 2029 and being certified in 2030.
Wow.
That's very rapid.
The Radia, which is incorporated in Colorado, also has an office in Italy, is using initial funding provided mainly by private investors. The CEO, Lundstrom, said that the company is now targeting U.S. government defense funding to advance the program and that it may opt to prioritize military approvals ahead of commercial type certification. Wow.
iHall Boxes has a couple of comments here that
All
are
right.
interesting.
iHall Boxes says, so it must be designed for volume, not tonnage. Yeah. Apparently there are things that you carry that the volume out before they weight
so
out.
one of the things that he talked about that was kind of one of the impetus for why this airplane was built and its volume was the 105 meter wind turbine blades that they use for offshore wind turbine generators. And the stuff we have on land, I think they go up to like 70-ish or 80-ish meters. And trying to transport 105. That's over 100 feet longer than a 70-meter blade. Trying to transport those over land doesn't work. The bridges are too low. The roads are not straight enough or long enough. Trying to make any turn, it's just not feasible to transport those size pieces over land. And so that's why they're far more efficient. Again, I'm not an expert in wind turbine technology by any means, but these bigger 105-meter wind turbines are much more efficient. They're going to try to improve power output and all this. But that was we need a way to get this 100. That's bigger than a football field, significantly bigger than a football field.
Wow.
Single blade of a wind turbine. How do we get that somewhere? So they said, they took the wind turbine blade and basically built an airplane around it and said, yep, that'll fit.
Wow.
iHall Boxes has another comment.
iHall Boxes says, curious about its crosswind limits. Yeah.
I mean, with such, it's got a very short wingspan, considering, and it's
engines
a high wing.
Like they're pretty high, high wing.
Yeah,
and
it's a high shoulder mounted wing. So, I mean, I bet it's probably halfway decent. Although you're going to get a lot of, you have a lot of side surface area because of that very, very long fuselage. But it'd be interesting.
The thing that reminds me, his comment about maxing out tonnage before volume, and that's why this thing has such amazing volume. And on the last show, someone sent in feedback regarding the C-141B Starlifter. The C-141A Starlifter would always volume out before it maxed out on its weight carrying capability. So that's why they added a couple of plugs that added up to about 23 feet 4 inches, whatever, so that they could put more volume in before they maxed out the tonnage.
Yeah, that was. iHall had another comment, said exactly. It's large and light, so it'll blow away easily.
Yeah, like a big old
more
balloon.
Surface area, but not necessarily a lot more weight. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, we're going to end our show with this, and this is sent in to us from Deanna Tickle, and I am so tickled that she did, pun intended, because I had not heard anything at all about this. Now, I'm not really into the motion picture world.
But read her email before you.
Okay, I will. So Deanna Tickle writes in, and the subject of her feedback is Wile Coyote versus Acme. I saw the trailer for this film. Are you able to disclose whether Acme Airlines is a defendant in this Wile Coyote lawsuit against the Acme Products Company? I don't know. Did we check with legal, Liz?
They said not to really discuss any details about it on this.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to go against legal's recommendation. I'm going to discuss it anyway. So she says, I understand if you can't comment on pending litigation, but could you at least let viewers know whether the show schedule and production quality will be impacted and whether Patreon money will be used for legal defense? Yes.
What's that? No, I don't. No, I don't have a way to turn him off. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't stop him.
Legal is trying to stop me from talking.
He's jeffing this up again. Legal.
Oh, jeffing
it up.
I'm jeffing it up. Apparently, okay. She says, I assume that 50% accuracy rating will suffer as resources are shifted to focus on legal strategy. It's understandable, and I, for one, will extend grace. Thank you, Deanna. Personally, while I sympathize with Mr. Coyote for all the injuries he suffered from Acme products, I think there is copious video evidence to demonstrate that he often used the products in a manner in which they were not intended.
Exactly.
Definitely operator error.
Yeah. Thus, it seems he bears some culpability. Contributory negligence, I think it's called. But then, I'm not an attorney. Anyway, just wanted to tell you all good luck. We're all counting on you.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
Me.
Uh-oh. You shouldn't count on
I like
us.
the mixed metaphors. I like it.
Yep, I do too, Deanna. Thank you so much for sending this in. And let me play the trailer, and that'll be the last thing we do before we wrap up the show. From VVS Films and Ketchup Entertainment. We're looking at Acme products. Roadrunner.
Have you been horribly injured by a product made by the ACME Corporation?
It's not your fault. There's probably someone to blame.
Name of the case is Coyote versus Acme.
Wile Coyote. He is reckless. We all know who's responsible, and all of his injuries are self-inflicted.
You've been settling Acme cases for years.
I could probably get you $250 for that.
This is your opportunity to really show people what you're capable of.
These companies think they can do whatever they want. We're sick of it.
Acme, act you!
Nothing to see here.
We really have nothing.
We both know it would be very unpleasant if anything bigger were to become public.
So, what is up, Doc?
The ACME Corporation is releasing this film for accounting purposes only. We do not condone any of the storylines depicted.
Only in theaters, August 28. So, soon.
So, there's actually a really kind of interesting story behind this whole movie. Because it was made, like, I believe completely made several years ago.
Oh.
And they decided not to release it, and they shelved it. And at some point, some level of rights or ownership or copyright or something lapsed, and some little independent filmmaker got a hold of it and said, "Oh,
Ketchup Films.
This is awesome. We're gonna show it." And now it's become this huge thing. So it's actually like a 4 or 5 year old movie.
Wow.
That never saw the light of day. It got put right next to the Ark of the Covenant back in some warehouse.
Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait to watch it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Deanna, for sending that in and making us all aware of it. So, okay. Well, now it is time for us to wrap up this show by pointing you over to our website, airlinepilotguide.com, where you'll find information about the crew and the community calendar. We have APG Library. Tiffany is our librarian. She does a great job of that. We also have a special page for the Old Pilot's Plane Tales and so much more.
Links to our soon-to-be-growing merch store?
Links to our soon-to-be-growing merch store, yes, for sure. Right. And we're also on social media.
It's next turn,
social
right?
media.
It's
yeah,
next.
Well, yeah, but and I'm sorry you're going to have to deal with the fact that this is not aligned to your liking. Okay, but I think you can do it.
I'll make it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. If you are a social meds kind of person, we're on Facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter. So if you're a former twit, you can go to @APGcrew, Instagram.com/APGcrew, or YouTube.com/airlinepilotguy. If you want to find the live episodes, definitely check out the Facebook page. I believe it's posted on Instagram as well. Definitely find the show art on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And but basically, if you search Airline Pilot Guy on any of those platforms, you have a reasonable, at least a 50% chance of finding us.
At least. All right. Perfect. Thank you, sir. And of course, we're also on something they call Slack. It's managed by this guy that's in my shower right now. Hello? Can you tell us about Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
All right, come here. He's going to tell us all about it.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas, we suggest episode and Plain Tales topics, we plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel.
Can you get me a roll of toilet paper?
Yeah, right on it. All right. Very good. And we'd also like to thank our producer, curator, Miss Liz Piper. Thank you, Liz, for all the work that you do setting up this show and running it and trying to keep us on the rails. Much appreciated. And also thank you.
Trying be the operative word.
For sure.
Very trying.
I know we're trying. And thank you to our live audience, our live chatters for hanging in there with us each and every week. It's always entertaining to see all the comments that they have for us. And finally, we'd like to say, wishing you all clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care and God bless.
You're welcome.
See you next time.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the airline pilot guy.
Meep, meep.
Good day.
I used to be such a good pilot till I started APG. I opened doors for little old ladies. I helped them to their seats. Airline pilot guy, I fly America. Oh, airline pilot guy, he can land in heavy fog. I got no friends 'cause I'm always flying. I just don't have the time. But I can land this old plane. I can land it just fine. Airline pilot